listening to Fresh Taste.
You are listening.
Actually, it's not on my list. So
yeah,
I want something concrete.
Absolutely. For movies, Adam, some stuff been moved around for film side, and obviously some stuff not completed, some stuff getting reshoot. So that's why some of that got. I mean, it was a better movie year that we have coming up than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's getting shifted around. You'll see, and stuff that got moved to this year. I'm sure we'll talk about at least one of those titles. But this is a good time to look at like indie film, and it's a good time to look at like foreign film, because when we're talking about a Hollywood strike, there's a lot of films being made around the world that are not affected by this, and so maybe you'll see a lot more of stuff like that, like Godzilla doing so well. Maybe we'll get more foreign film in the theaters in 2024.
And then Nick, you get lasted with TV shows for whatever reason, but because of the writer's strike, there's not really as much shows. It seems like a lot of repetitive shows. There's not really any new shows. There's a few, but none to really get you too jazzed up.
No, not at all. I don't know. I'm not too hip on the TV world, so I just kind of, if it looks interesting, cool. If there's people, if there's mayhem, chaos, I'm into it. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on this year. Hopefully something good.
Jazzed. Hey, since Nick wasn't here, I want to know Nick's best and worst movie show of this year.
Movie show?
Last year.
Movie and show.
Movie and show. Yeah, one of each. Two of each.
Honestly, all right. So the best. Oh, you want to start with the worst? Oh man, what was the worst?
You start wherever you want.
I picked
worst. Flash was really bad. That movie that might be the worst. Just because I don't like Ezra Miller, and having two Ezra Millers in that movie was quite awful.
You ruined Michael Keaton.
And Batman. Like, why are we even doing that? No,
and a decent Superman.
Yeah, that might be the worst one. Worst TV show? I don't know, because after 3 episodes of something, I just turn it off. So I don't know how bad they get.
I picked Secret Invasion, Nick.
Yeah. I got 1 episode. I got a half an episode into that one and shut it off. So maybe that one. I don't know. Unpopular opinion. I didn't really like Loki 2. Not gonna lie to you. I'm sure you guys loved it, but I didn't really like it. And especially now, because it's gonna mean absolutely nothing in this universe. So that's gonna be great. So that might be my worst. Best movie. And this is gonna be a super unpopular opinion, and everybody can hate on me all you want. I don't even care. Dead Reckoning. I loved that movie. I love the Mission Impossible franchise, and I think that movie
I'm right there
was,
with you, buddy.
like, it was so bang on to what the franchise has become, with big stunts, big action set pieces. And it was great. It was just a fun watch. And you all know I hate 3-hour long movies, and this was a 3-hour long movie that I actually sat through and enjoyed.
I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't get to talk about it in Best Of. I love that movie. The movie was great.
Movie was rad. It was a damn near perfect action movie. Was it perfect? Was it as perfect as John Wick 4? No. But did I have more fun with it? Yeah, because you know what? I love John Wick 4, but that's a 3-hour long movie, and there's like a million bullets in that movie, and it's just kind of got a little repetitive. The 40-minute staircase scene probably could have been 25 minutes, stuff like that.
Maybe.
In John Wick kind of pulled me out of it a little bit, whereas Mission Impossible was like, the set pieces were so fast, and it was a lot of them, and it was great. It was awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess for you, just because
Nice recap.
One of our best from Bootleg and B-Sides. What was your best and worst album? We pretty much unanimously all picked the Drake album.
Was the worst? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard it, so it could be the worst. I'll just go with that was the worst one.
What about for your best album?
My best album of the year. Oh my God. I don't even know what came out last year. It's going to be something heavy. It's going to be, honestly, and it's, there's a metal band out of Vancouver named Spirit Box, and they just got nominated for a Grammy. And it's really cool to see them. So they put out like a 6-song EP that blew everybody away this year, and it was super, super cool. It's heavy. It's got a female singer. She's got a wild voice. Check them out if you want. It's good.
Nice. All right, so here's the rules, or I guess you go 10-1 for your most anticipated. The way to cut down a little bit of time on here, if I pick out a thing, and let's say Nick picks it out, we're like, hey, so this is my number 10. You're like, yeah, that's my number 8. So we just all can just kind of, and then say Adam and Devan all have it. I doubt we're all, there's maybe 2 things in here I think we're synchronized with. But then we're like, yeah, that's my this. Even if it's your number 1, then we just kind of discuss it, because then it's an easier block to talk about that event than go in one by one and then like, oh yeah, so this is what I picked and come back. So I just think that makes more sense. Having said all that, Nick, you're the newcomer. Good. I won't make you go first because I know you're still working on the list idea.
No, it's okay. I can go first. My number 1's going to be of course.
No, it's not number 1.
It comes at number 10. Yeah, we can do number 10. It comes out this. I'm pretty sure it comes out this week. Does it come out this week? I'm pretty sure it comes out like Friday.
If we go with, I think you're going, yeah.
Yeah, of course. The Beekeeper is my number 10 most anticipated film of 2024, and it's going to be amazing because it's Jason Statham doing Jason Statham shit, and it's going to be amazing, and that's all I want right now is just Jason Statham doing Jason Statham things.
You and I talked about this in a text with Reacher. We're like, we need more movies again like this of just like title, action film, shut up, watch.
That's it. It's like the traditional action movie, like the 90-minute action movie is gone. And I find the traditional rom-com is gone as well. Like a 90-minute in and out rom-com. Yeah. Those 2 genres are like gone. You don't see them. They're direct to streaming. They're on Netflix or whatever. That's it. But to see one in theater, oh yeah, I'm all over this thing.
I have a question.
By David Ayer.
Oh.
Okay, my question is this, Nick.
Yes.
If you had to wait more than 1 week to build up anticipation, would this have been higher on your list, or is this number 10 because you get to see it within the week?
Good question.
Maybe both. I'm amped. It's going to be the first movie of 2024 that I see in theater, but it's also Statham. I would have seen it anyways. It's Statham on a big screen. I loved Operation Fortune. I thought that movie ruled, and to see it just go to direct to streaming was kind of like, yeah, I would have seen this in theater and it would have been fun.
That had a solid cast too. That Guy Ritchie film. Aubrey
Right.
Plaza, who I like said right now is the film MVP. If Aubrey Plaza's in something, she's carrying it.
Right. Hugh Grant, the
Grant,
return of Josh Hartnett, same
Yeah.
hair.
He's
And
back.
you got Josh Hutchinson's in The Beekeeper, by the way. So, and
You're
more
right about The
importantly, the mom
Beekeeper.
from the
And action movies like I think if there wasn't the strike, I feel like this movie might have just gone straight to streaming.
Right.
Which would have been a shame. And like seeing these like 100-minute action movies or rom-coms, like you're saying, like these like lower double-digit $1 million budget movies like need to be seen in theaters, I think. So I think it's exciting that it's like back. And I hope that we get more of it. It's not just $300 million blockbusters in the theater.
if not, it just gets forgotten, right? I remember there was a Karen Gillian action movie that came out like 2 or 3 years ago, which was fine. It came onto streaming and then it was
exclusive.
gone. Like just like that. So
Yeah,
like
you forget about them.
It's good to and that's why I think it's good to have these films like go like that. So Devon.
Yes, sir.
Number 10.
Okay. Number 10 is probably something I know the least amount of. That's why I'm the least anticipated of all my list. And it's The Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare, the Guy Ritchie movie with Henry Cavill, Henry Golding. Honestly, I think The Gentleman was really underrated. I don't think Guy Ritchie always hits, but when he's allowed to do things that are relatively within his wheelhouse, I think he gets to come up with some really interesting products. And I hope that this is a return to that kind of style.
And Josh, our boy's in it.
Who's
Alan
that?
Richardson.
Let's go. The Rise.
See, everyone should see it. I don't think there's Hugh Grant though, unfortunately.
Oh,
No,
sad.
So far, no overlap just yet. Adam.
Number 10, obviously I have to go with the prequel to The Lion King, Mustafa the Lion King 2. No, I'm just fucking with you. Not going to pick that movie. But it is directed by Barry Jenkins, which is pretty crazy. Like you do Moonlight and now you're doing Lion King prequels.
Yeah.
It's the money.
Just Disney money. Yeah.
Money
Disney
talks.
My number 10 is a game, and it's going to be like an indie game. They're bringing out a Toxic Crusaders game, and it's like an old Ninja Turtles beat 'em up style, and it looks awesome. And I love Toxic Avenger, and I love Toxic Crusaders, and I want to play this game.
Nope.
It looks great.
I like it. All good picks so far. I'm going, I guess I'll be the first one to take TV off. I'm going with the FX series Shogun. I've been anticipating this for a while. Disney had when they first really launched Disney Plus and they talked about some of the original content that they had coming, Shogun was there. This was announced like with Murderers in the Building. So you know how long ago it was when they announced this. And so it's been 3 seasons since Murder in the Building, and finally Shogun's going to come out. It has I'm going to butcher this name, so please apologize, but dude that played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, who's been
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Thank you. Yeah. Who, if he's in, I'm in at this point, and he seems to play one of the lead characters in this. And we just haven't had like a good like samurai series, so it's cool to kind of go into that world. FX at this point is kind of like HBO for the most part. If they put out a show, you're going to trust it. FX, you could argue, and we talked about best streamer, and I think one of the caveats that Devan had is like, well, I don't know if it's Disney, but it's Star/Hulu FX. And that's because of anything that FX/Hulu touches right now is right up there. So I got a lot of trust in this. Comes out February 27th, and pretty hyped to finally have this samurai level show, and we'll see how it goes, but pretty psyched to have it.
It's on my honorable mention.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic. It almost looks too big budget for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to adapt like a 1,200 page historical novel from 60 years ago, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they canceled Warrior, and I'm super pissed about that because that show fucking ruled. If you guys haven't seen it, So this will take that place this year.
Nice. All right. To number 9, I guess I'll go kind of in reverse draft order here. Waiting a long time for this bad boy. And Disney, as we talked about last year, the live action for the MCU was not great last year, to say the least. Adam, I know you don't know, and God bless you for not knowing, because it was not great last year. Animated wasn't
Sounded
even,
great.
It was, animated near the end was up and down with What If. But the one thing I'm wondering now, if Marvel's going to pull a reverse DC, where all the animation's really good and the live action's kind of meh, and we start bringing back one of the greatest Marvel animated properties of all time in X-Men 97. That's coming to Disney Plus this year. I'm super excited about it. Obviously, one of the most, from our childhoods, one of the most legendary theme songs of all time. All the original voice cast are going to come back. It's the only property that's done the Dark Phoenix saga correctly. Days of Future Past was done really good on there. And it'll kind of be the first look into Disney MCU handling X-Men property. Obviously, it'll be a rehash and just kind of a carry on of the animated series with updated animation. And anyone that didn't know that story of the animation show, like for like 4 seasons or so, it was great. And then Fox, got cheap and lazy. And then they shipped it off to a cheaper animation studio, and the animation quality went down and the writing went down on what was a really good, really well-written show. I think if you go back and look at that era of animation in the early 90s, it's Batman and Spider-Man and this X-Men series. So we're not, unfortunately, ever going to get Batman back now at that level, because RIP to Mr. Conroy. And Spider-Man, I think Disney has other plans. They have an animated show coming out this year. So we get to have X-Men 97. So super hyped to see X-Men come back. Adam.
Go X-Men.
Yeah.
My number 9 pick is going to be the Twisters sequel, because everybody's asking for
So you're just
more
going to be
Twisters.
sarcastic on every pick then?
But again, it's directed by the guy that did Minari, which is insane. Like, you do this like amazing like indie drama, and then you're given some giant like IP that you're just rehashing from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So nobody else has Twister? Okay.
No.
Actually, no, I'm gonna pick a movie. It's an indie movie called Anora, and it's by Sean Baker, who did Tangerine, Florida Project, and most recently Red Rocket with Simon Rex. There's like not much known about it. He's pretty quiet about his films, but I'm in for anything he does. He does this like ultra realism, surrealism kind of style that really works, casting a lot of non-actors. And he's been a big advocate for sex workers and like normalizing sex work. And this one lives in the world of sex work, much like a few of his other films. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I think it comes out
Nice.
like in the fall.
Nice.
I'm not sure yet.
You don't know who's in it yet at all?
I can't remember. It's like an OnlyFans actress, and
Oh.
like I don't know if there's anyone like famous in it. He always finds, he like casts no name people. Like he found the girl from Red Rocket on TikTok,
Wow.
and she's like amazing.
She's great, yeah.
Like, yeah,
You got to admire that type
yeah.
of
I don't know
casting.
any of these people. I don't know a single
Devan.
person in this movie.
Well,
So
time to
just
break history.
I feel like I'm the resident fact checker of this podcast, and Adam, the sequel to Twister is not Twister, it's Twisters.
He said
Yeah,
that.
that's what I said.
He said that.
You said Twister a couple times, so I
He
just
said
want to
Twisters at the start.
Okay, well, I want to make sure we're all on the same
Definitely
page. You're
said
not. Okay.
Thanks.
Number
Appreciate it.
9 for me is Tokyo Vice Season 2, based
Oh.
off the very
Really?
loosely based off of the book by Jake Adelstein. And you know what? It's not even that I'm really interested about the general story of the characters anymore. I just love the authenticity of what Ansel Elgort's done, adapting to being like an American in Japan. I love like the language training that he did. I loved how they filmed a lot of the mundane parts of Japan, then going into like the more seedy side. So I don't really have high hopes for it, but I'm still gonna watch it through a different lens, and I think a lot of other people will.
Nice.
And I'm just a sucker for Yakuza stuff, so
Yeah, I knew you were you were happy with the first season, I'd say.
I was happy until like the weird love triangle part.
Yeah,
Like
the
I
tail
actually
end.
go back and rewatch the first 2 episodes probably once every 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That Michael Mann like what he does with that material is just mind blowing. The rest of the show kind of fell off a little bit, but I love the commitment with Ken Watanabe as well. So
Nice.
Is he involved at all in this second season?
I have who Ken Watanabe or Michael Mann.
No, Michael Mann.
I don't think so. And even like one of the lead actors, the young Yakuza is not in it for whatever reason I haven't looked into. So I have no idea what direction they're going to go because the book they followed was more of a memoir. It really had to do with like, a period of time throughout his career where he was chasing stories rather than his personal life through that time. So I'm not really sure what kind of direction they're going to take.
Interesting.
So far, no overlapping. I love it. Nick.
All right, for number 9, I'm gonna go with Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new Kirsten Stewart, Katie O'Brien movie with Ed Harris and Dave Franco. So it should be pretty interesting. I think the premise is interesting. A24. I do like Katie O'Brien a lot right now. I think she's done some really good stuff on her Disney path with her role in Mandalorian and that shitty Ant-Man Quantumania, which is my worst movie of last year, not The Flash.
You're not a dick.
Let's go.
Was fucking awful. But Katie O'Brien plays like the warrior girl in that, leading the band of whatever the fuck aliens were fighting Kang at the end. So she's badass, and she plays a bodybuilder in this, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. So yeah, Love Lies Bleeding.
That one looks great, and did you see Saint Maud?
No, not yet. I'm assuming I should.
That was her. That was the director's first one.
Okay.
It's a pretty wild,
Okay.
wild, like almost body horror-ish type stuff.
That's
and this one looks kind of maybe secret body horror. Like it doesn't show it in the trailers,
right.
But
right. That's A24. They always got that secret body horror.
Yeah, secret body horror. I'm in for anything Kristen Stewart does.
100%.
I will watch any movie she's in post Twilight, like literally anything.
Nah, even Twilight. Come on, man, it's fine.
I'm actually like a Robert Pattinson stan now. Over the last little while,
can't you be
so both? Well, I just haven't seen a lot of Kristen Stewart stuff. I'm just saying, like of the Twilight ilk, I think we've come out pretty good after that. Like the world needed Twilight, it seems.
Anna Kendrick was in that as well in Twilight. She came out good. There's a lot of actors in that are like really good actors.
My boy from Fastlane,
whatever his name is.
All right, we go right back to you, Nick. You're number 8.
Sure. Let's go with a Marvel movie. Let's fucking set it off. I'm going with Blade. I want to see what they
Blade's
do.
Not out this year.
They nix that. I'm gonna go with the Crow reboot.
Okay. Love it.
Yes.
with one of the many Skarsgårds playing the role. I don't know. We'll see. I like the first
Cursed.
It was such a great movie. The movie ruled when it came out in '94. Good. The soundtrack was amazing. The lore, everything was great. So you know what? A 30-year later reboot, I'm absolutely fine with it, and I do want to see this.
It's just cursed, okay? It's just cursed. That's all. Yeah.
Who's in the lead role in this one?
Bill
Skarsgård.
Oh, Bill Skarsgård.
All right. Well, hopefully it works. I mean, the first one is awesome, other than the tragedy around it. So hopefully, and then it launched a wrestler's career from it too with Sting and the whole rehab of what Sting has. So full circle this year, Sting retiring and a new Crow coming out. It's a rebirth.
Crow coming out.
The rebirth for everybody.
That might be what the movie's about, oddly enough.
Might be. Dev.
Okay. Number 8, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay. It's going to be another A24, Civil War.
Adam, did you have it?
I didn't.
That's my number 3.
Okay, so we can talk about it then.
Okay, I'm always really fascinated by like alternate history kind of stuff, and whether or not the movie's actually good, I'm really interested in the lore. and what they're able to bring. And like I check Reddit every once in a while, and like a map of like the supposed different states fighting each other had popped up, and it just begs a lot of questions. Hopefully they answer some of them. The internet was basically lit aflame when the first poster came out, and we can talk about the military realness of having a sniper nest in the top of the Statue of Liberty. Regardless, very, very memorable poster, great image, yeah. and it really conveyed exactly what's going on. And the trailer definitely hooked me, wanting for more.
Nice, yeah, Nick.
Yeah, well, so Adam showed me this first. He sent me like the trailer or whatever, and then we were talking about it. And I was talking to a couple other buddies of mine, and it's just like this thing could happen. This is real as shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like we almost saw this on Jan 6. It's just like that's what it is, and we'll see with this upcoming election, and we'll see what everything else happens in America. But this could be some real life shit. This could be a documentary more than anything, or
that's the scariest thing I think about it. 100%. Is that like, is this like a playbook for like people to start this thing? Like that's 100%. A little bit terrifying.
100%. And that's why I'm intrigued and I want to see it. And I want to see then exactly like how real this shit got. Is this a Simpsons episode wrapped in a movie,
Some people are almost saying too, like, okay, Adam.
I was going to say Garland, I don't know if he's done a really good movie yet. But everything he's done has been really interesting, and I'm always excited to see what he does. But I don't think he's there yet.
Well, even if this is like a so-so movie, well, that's untouchable. Dread's amazing.
No, the 2012 was fucking
It's
awesome.
Amazing. It is so underrated.
Did he do Dread?
I'm pretty sure he did Dread. Did he?
I didn't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
Even still,
fact
even
check.
if it's yeah.
Fact check.
I'm busy like raving about something I'm anticipating.
Travis did Dread.
He wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it.
Okay. He's a good writer. Like he's written other things.
Okay, well,
Dread was written. He wrote Ex Machina and Annihilation, which some people don't
he directed
like.
It. Those are the ones he directed.
I like Annihilation. I know some people are mixed on it, but I liked Annihilation. I thought it was really good.
It's a ripoff of a 60s Russian.
And he wrote 28 Days Later. Is he writing the 28 Years Later script then?
That just got confirmed.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Or is it months later? Sorry, 28 months later.
Months later. And years. He's writing it.
Yeah.
He's writing it down. It's months. It's months and he's writing it.
Yeah.
He's also writing the Halo script.
Okay, that's a big minus. Huge, humongous minus.
Like a movie Halo or the TV Halo?
A movie, not the TV show. A movie.
Okay, then we'll give him a thumbs in the middle then.
Okay, he's got.
Or maybe it's a different show. No, it's based on the video.
And he did Men, which you liked, Adam? Question mark? I remember.
Yeah, me and Nick and I went to see it.
You liked it?
And yeah, kind of like mid, but the ending was great.
The ending was nuts, but that movie was not.
That's what I mean, where I'm like, this guy has really interesting style and interesting ideas, but it's like he hasn't made that movie yet. That totally gets me.
With that body horror.
It's some good body horror.
It's some great body horror.
Good pick. Dev, you went. Nick, you went. Adam.
What are we on? Number 8? 8. This is I'm gonna go TV or streaming, whatever the hell you want to call it these days.
Yeah.
This isn't the joke. I'm not doing a joke one this time. It's my only TV show on here. It's a limited series coming out called Disclaimer on Apple Plus. It's directed by Alf. I don't, but I like when things come out, so it doesn't matter. Alfonso Cuarón is doing this one, and I'll watch. He's like one of the best working directors.
Kate Blanchett, I'm in.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen is in it.
Kevin Kline.
But it's like it seems like a political drama that I'm just down for anything Alfonso does. So I'm excited to see this one.
And Leslie,
I feel like I had to have a TV show.
Yeah, you gotta have one.
And everything else is terrible. So.
And Leslie Manville, who was really good in the Crown is Prince Margaret, and she was in Devin's favorite show of last year, Citadel.
Cool.
Wah,
She's not-
wah.
Number 8 for me, it's my first live action TV show. The first one coming to another season. It's season 4 of The Boys, which I think I don't know if this would have been here if it wasn't for Gen X. I enjoy The Boys, but season 3 kind of seemed like, okay, it was a good season, don't get me wrong. But Gen X added an entirely new dimension to it and new questions and new excitement for it with how Gen X ended. I don't want to get too into that. I do think we need to escalate a little bit more of the Homelander angle of where we're going with things, because it kind of just seems like we're at the same spot with Homelander all the time. But with what happened from Gen X, without spoiling too much, there is now a visible threat to Homelander. So, and there's interesting stuff going in with Vought. So there's a lot of interesting storylines, a lot of interesting plots going in. I'm really excited to see where they go overall with the series for season 4. And again, I think it's a big part of what Gen X added, and we know that Gen X is going to play a part in this. And then this goes like right where Gen X ended into this, and then right where this ends goes to Gen X season 2. So Amazon's got something cooking right now with this universe.
You put me onto Gen X, Gen Z,
Yeah.
Gen X, Gen Z,
Gen Z, sorry,
Gen V,
my
Gen V.
apologies. Won't be using the video
the
clip of
V.
that.
V.
Yeah, I won't be using the video clip of that.
It's and it was really good.
Yeah,
It was a really good follow-up. It was almost it was much better than Boys season 3.
yeah.
So I'll agree with because of that, I'm kind of amped for season 4. Yeah, for sure.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Nice.
I watched
gonna
one
take-
episode of this show.
I'm gonna take a left
That's
turn,
as
and
far
I'm
as
just.
I got.
It's got some good action, got some good blood. It's good.
I think
could
the
not.
first episode is where the guy gets exploded by the
Yeah.
guys running.
No, the girlfriend, the fiance
girl.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it good. Obviously,
I do not
Really
give
took it in.
I do not give two shits about any of the mysteries involved or the background or the history of this company. I really just want to see Anthony Starr play Homelander. That's all I'm there for. And when you talk about like a credible threat to Homelander's power, well, we saw that with Soldier Boy.
Yeah, but you really see it from a Gen V. There's something actually that could tell him.
You know what? I'm sure there is. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it in anticipation of season 4. Haha, no pun intended. But I'm just letting I love Homelander. The rest of the show, I'm kind of take it or leave it.
Coming back to me with my 7th pick, I'm going to TV again, and this is I have this and one more TV. I know no one else will have this. I'm the only one that has this. House of the Dragon season 2. Thrones ended anticlimactic, I guess it's safe to say for some. I thought it was okay, but it was fine. House of the Dragon came along and reminded everyone why they loved Game of Thrones. And it was a real force. And I think the interesting thing too was part of this HBO powerhouse that happened with House of the Dragon into White Lotus, into Last of Us, into Succession. And then that kind of got destroyed by the idol. And HBO hasn't recovered since then, but they get to have this come. I believe it's going to be coming in the summer. And anytime they can get the shot of the arm from arguably their best overall franchise, that helps. And left in a good cliffhanger. We had some time jumps in the first season. I don't know if I have as many time jumps this time from it, but looking forward to going back. And I think they said there's going to be about 2 more seasons of this. So looking forward to going back and seeing some dragons and see where we go for House of the Dragon. It's my number 7. I don't think anybody else had this other than me.
Hey, as long as you're happy.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. Back to Adam.
So at the end of 2023, there was a famous interview with John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And they said, you're the master of horror. Please speak on this for a little. And he says, look, I'm not a master of anything. I just want to play video games and watch basketball. And so John Carpenter is making a video game this year.
Let's go.
And it's called John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. And it sounds insane. It's a zombie first-person shooter, and it could be terrible, and it probably will be, but it's John Carpenter getting involved in another medium, and he's already destroyed cinema and done so well with that. And he DJ'd at Coachella, and he does soundtrack score for films still. So I want to see what he does with the medium of video games. So I'm excited for that one.
Nice.
That's my last video game on the list. I had GTA 6 on there pretty high up until like 5 minutes ago, and so I panicked.
Did you not see the trailer? Did you not see the trailer?
I don't remember. I was like, next year, coming out next year, right?
Yes. Senator literally had that on one of his worst of, was that it was out next year. I didn't have any video games. I had honorable mention to Star Wars Outworlds, but I'm still mixed on it because of another, as Devin and I talked about, an electronic enhancement, another open world game, and it's Bethesda, which can be up and down.
Well, the other part too is, are we even sure that some of these games are going to come out on time? Like,
that's the thing. Outworld's now late 2024, so I was like, I don't.
We got a trailer for Star Wars Eclipse like 2 years ago,
yeah,
and we haven't heard a single thing about it. So
and
I'll believe anything to do with Star Wars like the day before it's supposed to come out, because they're going to pull the rug out from under you if they can.
Hey Dev, I was fully prepared to come on here and put Bomb Rush Cyberpunk for a third year in a row as one of my most anticipated. But then you told me that it was already out, and it came out like halfway through last year, and I was
It
like,
came out in like August. I bought it for my brother for Christmas.
yeah.
Some fans.
I probably should play it. I probably need to get it.
That leads to Devan.
Cool. Number 7?
Yep.
No. I'm counting the wrong way, so I got to do the math in my head. I am going to put a video game, Animal Well by Big Mode.
Hey, how's about that?
And a very certain YouTube personality that I know 3 of us really,
And he's not leaving YouTube. Don't worry.
I'm not going to say idolize, but we all respect Video Game Donkey for what he does, and now he's using this platform to make a publishing company. And he's making like a really cute, quirky, retro style 16-bit game where you're a frog. I don't know.
Did you see the YouTube video he did today? The 5-second one saying he's not quitting YouTube.
I have not. But given how many people have quit within the last like month, wouldn't be surprised. So Animal Well is getting some love.
That's a great pick. I honestly didn't see it on my list, but that's definitely an honorable mention. It's definitely an honorable mention. I'm very excited to put, just because Donkey number 1, when he does his year in reviews, which he hasn't done yet as we're recording this, he always gives so much love to the indie games and loves the indie games, and I know you do too, Dev. And if it's good enough for Donkey, I think it's a good enough endorsement for a lot of us. He also had kind of like that 1912 kind of Blastoid game that they're doing as well on Big Mode that looks really cool, but I couldn't find out when that's coming out either.
Yeah, I think he, as someone who gives criticism, I think he's going to have a really unique take on games itself, and he's probably going to learn a lot from this process. And I just want to see his unique take on games, given that he critiques them. So
absolutely. Nick, number 7.
All right, we're gonna get into some shit. So if heist movies are my number 1 favorite genre of action movies, espionage and spy shit is my number 2. And this fucking movie Argyle, the new Matthew Vaughn joint, I can't wait for this movie. I can't wait. Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston, Dua Lipa, who I love, John Cena, Samuel L. Jackson. This movie's gonna fucking be awful.
What?
I can't wait to see it.
So I had an honorable mention. My only thing for this is this not just like Romancing the Stone 2024?
100%. And I'm fine with it.
Because it's pretty much what that
Romancing the Stone ruled.
Yeah, it's pretty much what that Sandra Bullock Channing Tatum movie was too. So, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Never saw that one, but this one seems way better.
Yeah, I'm into it. And it comes on Apple right away too, right? I don't think if it goes to theater.
Amazing. I can't wait. I hope not.
Yeah, it's on my honorable mention. Either one of you guys have that?
No, but you know what?
It's by the writer of Ice Age Continental Drift. So
Even better. So it should have been fucking number 6 on my list, not 7. Shit.
So just being in this podcast for the last like 45 minutes or God knows however long, since we're all ranking our genres, Yakuza movies or Triad movies are my number 1, espionage movies, I think, are my number 2.
Ooh.
A good Cold War espionage movie, I'm in. So I see some common ground, Nick.
Okay, I'm into
I
it.
love it.
Well, you're gonna
Nick?
then you're gonna love this Argyle shit.
Yeah, I'm into it. Nick, you're number 6.
My number 6. Is this coming out this year? You're gonna have to fact check me. Is this new Beetlejuice movie coming out this year?
Yes.
Okay, then that's
my
my
yes.
number 6.
Yes.
Because that movie's gonna fucking rule. So it's Michael Keaton playing one of his greatest roles ever. Let's be completely honest. And I
Yes.
don't believe Alec Baldwin is resurfacing, so it's gonna be way
No.
better. And
Gina
Jennifer
Davis isn't
Jones.
in either, right?
Well, that's sad. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an anticipated movie. The first one was great, and to do it 36 years later, I'm fine with it.
What movie is that, Nick?
Beetlejuice 2.
What movie is that, Nick?
Nope, you're only gonna get me twice.
Damn it.
What if he made like an appearance on our podcast behind Nick? Like, wouldn't we all want to hang out with him? Like, that's the whole
By the
point.
way,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
some interesting points in that. Has William Dafoe
Yes.
in it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Monica Bellucci, who's Beetlejuice's wife.
Amazing.
Jenna Ortega, who is contractually obligated now to be in all things spooky, apparently.
Right.
The GOAT, Catherine O'Hara, is coming back. Justin Theroux's in it, and Winona Ryder's coming back as well.
And Danny Elfman's still doing that score.
Boom. That's
And
all
it's
that
gonna be
matters then.
amazing.
This is
That's
like
all
one
I
of
know.
those. This is one of those like sequels that nobody asked for. But it sounds, this is gonna sound so trite. Adam's gonna roll his eyes. Like, it sounds like they're doing it right. Like, I really have no problem with this kind of blatant cash grab for a really, really beloved property. Like, if I don't know, that's just me.
I mean, but it's not like a reboot. It's not like they're recasting anybody, So I think that's why it seems a little more like, I don't want to say genuine because it is a cash grab, but it's like it
Yeah.
seems a little more, grounded because it's got Keaton in it. If they recasted him and put some, whoever's hot right now, I don't, but
Josh Hartnett.
Sure, they put Josh Hartnett in with
Justin
that
Bieber.
hair. Sure, Bieber as fucking Beetlejuice and
Joko.
Keaton. Oh my Christ, have a joke to be had. Yeah, cool.
Love it. Devan, number 6.
You got it. Let me look through my list really quickly. Okay, I'm pretty confident this is gonna go here. True Detective, Night Country. This is
Honorable mention.
this is the last stab at the old well. By the trailer, it looks like they're referencing some really cool stuff. Arguably the cool stuff from season 1.
Yeah.
It's got friggin' Jodie Foster in it. Like, she's not gonna
Mhm.
jump on anything that's shitty, right? She's like a legit actor's actor.
Fucking hate
So
you.
I'm anticipating it. I'm giving it like every chance for it to be good. If it's bad, then I can confidently say that I gave it a shot and the series was just kind of a one-hit wonder.
You and I like season 3.
Season 3 is like just because it's better than season 2, right?
I like season
That's
2, but that's because it has McAdams, so I'm going to ride for anything McAdams.
It's season 2's fine. It's just not like nothing. Very few things can reach the height of season 1.
You
But if this even comes close, then I'm in for it.
You get a few like classic kind of like that person character actors. Although I don't think Fiona Shaw is past that now. Is she just Fiona Shaw, or is she like, oh, I know her?
Might be an I know her.
She's
That person.
Yeah, 'cause she was in Andor. She was in Killing Eve. She's in a lot of stuff. I think she was in 24 as well. And then John Hawkes as well, who is, I think he's kind of that guy. He's in a lot of stuff too. It's like, oh, him. He's one of those as well. But yeah, it was on my honorable mention.
That was my number 4.
Okay, you want to speak on
So
it
that's
at
our
all?
second double up, Dev. That's
There you
that's
go.
it. That's that.
Simpatico.
Best friends for life.
Since
One more.
we
and you
just
gotta
compared.
kiss.
Since we just compared like favorite movie genres, it's kind of coming together.
It's all coming together.
Potentially
Adam,
Crooked Cops, number 3 on our list.
Ooh,
Mm.
or buddy cops. I don't know.
Buddy cops.
One cop definitely has to be like have a drinking problem and estranged from his
100%.
family.
But the other one has to have like a happy family.
Is Jodie Foster the happy family or the drunk?
Oh,
Drunk.
God. You know what? And that's my only worry about this movie because I've stated on this show before that I hate Jodie Foster, but I'm going to give this show one last shot.
It is one last shot for me. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
100%.
HBO is going to be fine, but HBO kind of, like I said, like they had that run of House of the Dragon, White Lotus, Last of Us, Succession, and then it just took a sharp turn. And this is like the first time in a while that HBO doesn't have like that must see show on Sunday, and I do think it's going to recapture it right now with True Detective. Adam, number 6.
I think this is gonna come out this year. So I'm gonna put it on here, and I think somebody else might have it on here, but it's the new Bong Joon-ho film, Mickey 17.
Number 2.
They just took it
Got it
off
at number 2?
They took it off the release
They
slate.
took
I had
it
on
off?
my list.
Yeah, we talked about this.
They had it in March, which is pretty early in the year, and I feel like they just bumped it back.
Yeah,
It's actually
this
no, it's
season.
off. It's off the slate entirely right now. It just happened. Very
Yeah,
recent.
like 2 days ago,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
like
talked
a
about
day
it.
or two ago.
It
But
is-
I-
it
but
was
I
on my
feel
list.
like I'm confident that it's a strategic move just to let Dune breathe a little bit because it's the same
Mhm.
studio,
It was supposed to come out
and
in
maybe-
March.
and maybe angle for some awards. Maybe they think that there's award capabilities with something like this. I mean, Bong Joon-ho doing his, I think this is his first, oh no, this is his second English language film. He did Okja for Netflix a few years ago. But Robert Pattinson is in it. It's about like a clone who does dirty work. It's like Wall-E.
Yeah.
It's basically like real
It's
life
Moon.
Wall-E.
It's Moon, but the guy remembers all of
kinda
his
like
past
Moon.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Well,
like Moon.
Nick.
But as I talked about Kristen Stewart, it's like I'll watch almost anything Robert Pattinson is into. So
Yeah, Nick, it was my number 2. Nick talked about his movie genres, clones, and anything with cloning or body snatching. I'm in. You got me. So Parasite, awesome. Anything Bong Joon-ho has done. Robert Patterson, I've like pretty much like everything he's done except for the new Batman. But that's a story for another
Easy.
day.
You
That's a
hold
story-
your tongue, man.
That's a story for another day. I had it, number 2 because I'm pretty excited, and I think it was a March release, so I can't imagine it's going to get pushed entirely off the schedule. I think they'll, like you were saying, Adam, they'll wait, put it in some festivals, and then kind of let it out near the fall, near the winter is what I'm assuming, because March kind of made no sense for it either. I mean, we've had movies that have been out at that time and have been able to ride an award success. Most recently, Get Out comes to mind. Even our last year, our Oscar winner last year came out in the spring.
Everything
right? Around
Everywhere.
the same time. Yeah, that came around the same time. So just because you put it there doesn't mean it's not going to be remembered. But I do wonder, they wanted to push up Godzilla probably because of they're kind of trying to catch Godzilla fever right now. So kind of get that idea from what Warner's doing. So yeah, that was my number 2. But I'll go back to my number 6. And my number 6 is a franchise I really like, and I don't think it's enough love really right now, but it's Kingdom of Planet of the Apes is my number 6.
Let's go.
What number is that for you?
It's not it's honorable mention. It was like going to be
Okay.
11 or 12.
William H. Macy's in it, by the way. I'm excited. Like all these movies, there's not a bad one of the new movies. They're all really, really good. The originals are I obviously love, but they've done a lot of good stuff with this. I thought they ended Caesar's story perfectly to go to. This is pretty much like for those that when we were kids and you watched the first Planet of the Apes, this is what that movie is pretty much, right? It's pretty much the first original Planet of the Apes, but now modernized. And everything they've laid out for these type of movies has been perfect. And I expect nothing different. The trailer looked really, really good. And really excited. And this is the type of movie too. Like for me, as you know, Adam, like fortunately I haven't gone to the theater as much. And there's been movies that came out that maybe I should have gone to the theater, but this is definitely one of those movies. As we're coming up to the rest I have here, this is one that's like, yeah, I'm going to the theater because I have to see this in the theater. So
Mark
that is
Wahlberg's
my
not
number
in these
6.
movies.
No, he's
Okay,
not.
what about James Franco?
and James Franco.
No, James Franco's not. in it.
I've never
Devin-
seen any of the new Planet of the Apes,
They're great.
but I
They're
hear they're
great.
pretty good.
Yeah, they're great. Into my top 5. Number 5. It's the last time I'll ever be able to put it on this list. It's one of my favorite shows of all time for the 12th season. Coming in February, Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's say what you want to say. Some people don't like these past seasons. I still think they're not what the first seasons were, obviously, but I still like to see Larry get up to awkward situations, tell the jokes that he does. So, and as as a Seinfeld fan, this is probably the last thing we're gonna get in that realm. I agree. Adam and I talked in the past. I agree that maybe they should have ended it with the Seinfeld reunion, but there's been some nuggets
Mhm.
into past seasons, and I trust Larry that he's going to go out and get to see some more Leon, which is always fantastic. It's too bad that Super Dave can't be with us for this final season because he was one of the highlights. But I've loved being in this world. It's always one of my favorite themes when it comes on Sundays. So I'm looking forward to 10 episodes of this and not ready to say goodbye to it.
Yeah, I've been one of those people that says I don't really like it in the last few seasons, but there's still like some gold.
Yeah.
Like every season still has something, and it's funnier. I find it less funny to watch it. Like I watch it, I'm like, okay.
It's the
But then you
clips.
think back on it, and you're like, oh yeah, Vince Vaughn. Like I'm thinking back now of like Vince Vaughn as the surrogate
Yeah.
Funkhauser, and it's like he's very funny in it. Or like John
Yeah.
Hamm trying to play
John Hamm.
Larry. Like these are funny things. Like
Yeah.
these are really funny moments.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like a whole season is funny anymore. That's my concern. But I'm
Yeah.
still gonna watch it. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna not watch it.
I'm thrilled to have it. So it's my number 5, Adam.
My number 5 is a movie. I think I have only movies left.
After this,
I
I'm
do
only
have
movies
only
now.
movies left.
That was my last show. I had
Um,
no games.
This I've been toying where to put this, so it kind of sits right in the middle. Um, and we're fortunate enough to get another movie from this guy 2 years in a row, and it's Yorgos Lanthimos' new film, Kind of Kindness. It's got basically the same cast as Poor Things, and he hasn't missed on any movie he's ever done. He's done like 6 or 7 movies, and they've all been, I can't even rank them. They're all like top tier movies. They're always so funny and dark and really weird. This one, the only reason I had this lower and I was less excited about it was because it's an anthology, and I'm not always crazy about anthology movies,
Hmm.
but we'll see. I think he could do something cool with it.
Jesse Plemons in it as well, like a
Mhm.
newer addition from
Is Emma Stone in it too?
Anna Stone. Hunter Schafer's in it.
Yeah, Yorgos, or
Heroes, so
Willem Dafoe,
Defoe.
Defoe.
Margaret Qualley,
No,
who was in
Ruffalo doesn't come back
Poor
from
Things.
the
No
last one.
Ruffalo.
Yeah,
Snubbed
good
at the
cast.
SAG Awards.
Yeah, there's a lot of snubs at
Come
the
on,
SAG
Mark
Awards.
Ruffalo is amazing in that movie. So
Yeah. Yeah, Yorgo's not missing right now. Oh, he did The Lobster, which is great, and The Favorite, which is great. So you're right, Adam.
he did The
I
Lobster.
knew that. I just it's like one of those
Lobster,
where you didn't
Killing
see
a
it.
Sacred Deer,
Yeah.
Dogtooth, Favorite. The only one
Good
I've never
pick.
seen Alps. Alps is a weird
Yeah, I haven't
Greek
seen
one.
that one either. Dev, number 5.
Okay, gut check time. This is where
Mhm.
what separates the true media consumers from the casuals. Number 5, I'm going with The Penguin.
Honorable mention.
Okay.
It's gonna be
And
good though.
so I recently within the last 2 months rewatched The Batman,
Mhm.
which minus the last 30 minutes is like quite literally all time for
I
a
will
Batman
take your
Batman
word for it.
for Batman medium.
I agree.
It's by far not perfect as a movie, but as a Batman thing, it fits right in. And I love everything that they basically chose to do with it up to the end, with the explosions in the water, turning it to no man's land.
Yeah.
And a weird cameo at the end. Like character designs, actor choices. Pattinson's portrayal is like this unhinged, like 20 something is super cool to me. And you know what? One of the scene stealing parts of that movie was Colin as the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I think that's going to get some attention from people.
Yeah, I think I do. Again, you talked about things that are going to help Max out HBO. I think Penguin's going to be one of those big things. They made my honorable mention. Obviously, I'm not as high on the film as you and Nick are, but also I probably have to go back and watch it because I've only seen it once. So maybe I am due for a rewatch. But I am excited for this show, and I do think what he did for the Penguin for me was the highlight of that film. So
If the movie had ended, I think we'd all seen it, and I don't think Adam gives a shit even if he hasn't seen it. If it had ended,
I saw it. I went to the movie theater and I watched the whole thing. Don't tell me what I saw.
If the movie had ended with the bombs going off, I think it might be considered one of the 2 or 3 best Batman movies of all time.
Yeah. Nick, number 5.
Number 5. I'm gonna go with Maxine.
Honorable mention.
The third of the
Your number 2, Adam?
I got it.
And
I got it number 2.
All right, so we got
Nice.
3. It's the closest
Yeah.
it came so far. Well, I had
There it is.
honorable mention. It was number 12 for me.
Nice.
If we're going by technical things I did top 20.
It's gonna be awesome. They haven't missed yet on either of them. Like the first one was so Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it had that feel, that dirty Texas heat, and it was
the
just
cast, Nick?
this new one. Go on.
Michelle Moynihan.
Oh, your man's in it. Your fucking guy.
Who?
Bobby Cannavale.
Oh yeah, Cannavale's my guy.
Who doesn't
Cannavale's in
like
it.
Bobby? Everyone likes Bobby.
Bobby Cannavale's in it. Juan Carlos Esposito's in it. Kevin Bacon's in it. Elizabeth Debicki, who did a fantastic job as Diana and just won a Golden Globe for playing Princess Diana. She's tremendous, and some people might know her from The Guardians. So I think it's obviously Mia Goth and Lily Collins, who is making her way up in Hollywood right now, and
I see Halsey's name on here, which I'm fine with.
Yep. Yeah,
fine with a little Halsey.
Yeah, I really, this went up in and out of my list. I'm really excited. As you said, it hasn't missed from the Ty West. Not Devin. Adam put me on to 2X, and then Pearl. I mean, you can debate. I think Pearl's the better acted movie.
Yeah,
but X is also just like a really unique kind of throwback take on horror as well.
When I saw X in the theater, I was hot the entire time. Like it's just like it's got that feel.
Yeah.
It's like backwoods Texas, and it's just like this dusty ass cabin and this, this old couple just kind of creeping around. I'm like, this is great. Like, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
I have an observation.
And it's funny.
Yeah.
Like also the Pearl is funny too.
Everything on Nick's list has a contemporary pop star in it.
Dua Lipa and Halsey, come on now.
Who's a Beekeeper?
Somebody's got to be in
Oh,
Beekeeper.
Somebody's in Beekeeper. It's the state of the movie.
There's the secret Beyonce cameo that they haven't talked about.
I think Lizzo's in it.
No. Oh God.
That's a great pick. Yeah, like I said,
I want to talk about Maxine.
Yeah, please do.
Maxine is my number 2 also. And I'm really excited for it. I think, like you said, it was like first one was Texas Chainsaw. Second one is like horror Wizard of Oz, kind of like hard to really put a like it's like a 50s style. And then now we're on Maxine. It's like the 80s, and I feel like this one's gonna be like a slasher. And I hope, and I know it will be like a gritty slasher, which is what I want. Like he's done House of the Devil, which is amazing. And if it's in any vein like that, I guess you were saying you're like espionage movies are yours, Dev, and Nick's are heist movies. Mine are basically anything to do with the porn industry, I guess. So anything like that, I'm in. And Maxine is that.
It's so awesome when you look at Ty West's IMDb. It's like Pearl, X, Them, Tales from the Loop, The Resident. Amazing. Gotta love it. Just to fall down to the and he did obviously then a lot of more horror doing The Exorcist and the Scream TV show, but then just The Resident in there just cracks me up.
He also acts in things. He randomly acts in stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's just like kind of in the indie horror realm, and people just like he's just friends with everyone. And he's been doing stuff for years, but he didn't really get on until X. Like he didn't hit that mainstream.
Yeah, House of the Devil's like damn near 20 years old.
Wow.
And that movie's
so good.
Yeah, that movie was great.
That movie's so like perfectly like late 70s, early 80s. Like it looks like you just popped in a VHS that you found, and you were like, "What is this?"
Yeah. Plus, it's got Tom Noonan. That guy's a fucking monster.
And Greta Gerwig's in it. We go back to you, Nick. To number 4.
Yeah, my 4 and 3rd were talked about already. Number 4 was
Okay.
True Detective.
Okay, so
So
we
we'll
can
pass.
skip to you. Dev, number 4.
Thank you for the consideration. I hope to have some more discussion going forward. My number 4 is Masters of the Air.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, executive produced. Guess what they did like 20 years ago? Band of Brothers. Guess what they did 15 years ago? The Pacific. Guess what they're doing now? A movie about bombers.
Miniseries.
Need I say more? No.
Austin Butler, does he bring the accents? That's my question.
Butler and Barry
Keoghan.
Keoghan, yeah.
Barry
so
Keoghan and the
I'm
guy from Sex Education
I was
and
in
Barbie.
I was in basically off of Band of Brothers and the Pacific, but I'm even more in with a pretty cool big contemporary cast.
The only problem is that it's Fukunawa who's directing it, and he did that terrible Bond movie. But everything else he's done is great.
I think he's also kind of a sex pest.
A what?
Sex pest. I
Can
thought there was some
you-
stuff about him.
I didn't.
You know
I,
what I'm
okay.
talking about.
Well, firstly,
Well, you know
I
what
just
I
have-
mean.
I know what you mean, but I've never heard of that phrase before, and like it's like so.
No,
It's like
I think that's the common.
kind of creepy.
It's like the biblical term.
Sex pest.
A biblical.
Yeah.
Going back 2,000 years. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, just in it. I'm in it to win it.
Yeah, should be good. Apple, and that comes out soon too, January 26th.
I believe I had it on my list last year, and it got bumped because of the strike.
Oh, okay. Adam, you're number 4.
I'm gonna be really mad if this is not on Nick's list, and it might be his number 1, so I might be stealing some thunder here. But I'm putting Terrifier 3
Oh.
as my pick here.
Was that number 1 for you, Nick?
It was not. It was an honorable mention, believe it or not.
Honorable mention? That's
I actually thought there was yes. I was doing a real kind of list,
No.
and then Terrifier 3. Okay,
a real. What are you talking? This is a real list.
yeah, you're right.
This is a real list. It's Terrifier 3. That trailer is insane.
It's gonna be
For the
amazing.
third one, it's set at Christmas time. This time around, the trailer has him potentially murdering a child while delivering Christmas presents,
Oh my god.
and then eating bloody milk and cookies. It looks amazing, and they have funding now because he made like $10 million with the last movie, and he gets basically every penny of it. So he said he's been able to hire a makeup team this time, so it doesn't take him 9 years to make a movie. And so we're like 2 years now since the last one, and it's coming out right around Halloween, so it'll be awesome. It's going to be amazing.
Maybe it'll go to more than one, like a half a theater.
Yeah, it'll get like
One screen, one night.
Yeah, one night only.
One night only.
I would go.
We did.
My number 4 is Deadpool 3. I get to see Hugh Jackman in the OG Wolverine suits. It's probably the first opening to the X-Men in the MCU. Taylor Swift is Dazzler. Anyone? Why not?
Is she actually?
That's the rumor. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Taylor Swift
Is
is
this
Dazzler.
on your list too,
wow.
Nick?
Oh,
He's a pop star.
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't know about this until now. This is new news. If I knew
There's actually been
beforehand.
there's been a debate if when the trailer drops if they should show Taylor's in it to help the box office out a little bit,
Well,
because
that'll be the Super Bowl trailer.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and they'll show Dazzler, and there's expected to be a few other cameos. It's a big movie for the MCU too, as you know, Nick and Devan particularly know the multiverse has not gone great, so hopefully this is something that can fix and rejigger where the multiverse is. It's the only MCU movie out this year. The first Deadpool is great. Number 2 is fine. It's a good one. I know Devin and Adam are the biggest Ryan Reynolds fans, But I'm excited to see Wolverine. Excited to gotta get back in this world, and hopefully, if the rumor of the big bad is true, that's very exciting as well because the rumor is potentially Mr. Sinister. So we will see where we go with that.
I don't mind Ryan Reynolds if they didn't blur the line between Deadpool's personality and Ryan Reynolds' personality.
So you really didn't like how he accepted an Emmy this week, then?
Just pick one. Like, just he's either Ryan Reynolds in a red suit or he's Deadpool without a costume with a really beautiful family.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan Reynolds, like his persona is Deadpool.
Yeah.
So I think that's why this movie could be okay. Because it's him doing what he does. It's like, what I mean is like Deadpool's translating into every other movie he does.
That's why I just like
in
that's
a
why I get
Deadpool movie. Could be fine.
Yeah, I have no problem with the first Deadpool. I actually haven't gotten around to see the second one. I'm not even against it. Josh Brolin as Cable seems like a really great casting.
Brolin.
It's just one of those things where like you see it all over the place. You see it in Mint mobile ads, you see it for gin ads, you see it just him on camera, and you're like, I've just had enough of either Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds or Dead Reynolds or whatever.
And there'd be a lot more coming. And again, I'm just excited to see Hugh Jackman back in the Wolverine. This might be I think he'll be in Secret Wars. But specifically to see him in the suit. How many X-Men movies have we seen him tease the suit? And as I
He's
just
gonna
talked
get
about
the bag. He's gonna get the
of course he is.
RDJ treatment. He's gonna do like 10 movies. He's gonna make $500 million off of it, and like everyone's gonna be happy.
It's just exciting too to see him. Like I talked about X-Men 97. We've been waiting for this suit in live action. We've had to tease so many damn times. So we've seen him as Weapon X. We've seen him in a lot of iterations. We finally get to see Wolverine in that suit, and we get to see probably him and Deadpool have a real fight, unlike what they did in Wolverine Origins, which is absolutely terrible. So
I want to see a 60-year-old jacked Hugh Jackman.
Hell yeah.
If we're talking 10 years, I'm like, I want to see a 60-year-old man just jacked.
I mean, he did just get divorced, so he might keep it for a while.
You might.
This movie has to make money so Ryan Reynolds can keep getting Wrexham promoted in soccer. Otherwise,
how many Wrexham jerseys are going to be in that movie?
Well, the interesting thing is too, I believe Rob McEnelly's never been in a movie, or very solemn has been in a movie. So this might be the first time Rob McEnelly's actually in a film. If you check his IMDb out, he has not been in a lot of films. It's mainly TV shows. He's mainly just
in it?
done Sunny and done the show that he does for Apple that I'm forgetting the name of right now.
So I guess that's what it is. It's like he's doing this to get a payday so they can keep funding Wrexham.
Yeah, it's both of them. And it also, and this is the first time too, also with the Fox merger with the MCU, where you're starting to see them put this property. And they weren't really allowed to put any X-Men characters in until 2024, 25. So now we're getting to see this. Number 3 for me, Ballerina. Ana de Armas, the world of John Wick. I'm in. Let's go. I don't know. I think this is a prequel. It has Keanu in it, so those who know have seen John Wick 4, it might be a little bit harder, let's just say, for him to potentially be involved, if not.
Well, it's based within his family, right? Because Angelica Houston stars in it as well.
Yeah. Lance Reddick's in it, so we get to see the GOAT one last time in this world, so that's also great. Norman Reedus also is in it as well. So, yeah, excited to go back in this world. And the best part of that, I talked about that terrible Bond movie. The best part was like the 10 minutes we got with Ana de Armas. So getting to see her go in this role, which she should have had in Bond, get to see her in this full out John Wick universe. Give it to me. I'm excited.
Plus, she was in that Ghost movie, which ruled.
Yeah. You didn't have it, Dev?
It was 11.
It was 11. Oh,
just because I haven't seen like much promotional stuff for. Like I know they've talked about it for ages, but
yeah, I'm assuming it's a Super Bowl trailer too because it's June.
And I also feel bad because I didn't watch like the Continental, so I'm a little bit behind on my John Wick.
Nobody did. That's the problem.
You didn't watch that show? I definitely didn't.
So that's number 3 for me. I only have my number 1 left because I did Mickey at 2. So Dev, number 3.
Okay, number 3 is a show called The Sympathizer. Okay. We just talked about our levels of tiers of I'm in, and this is a Cold War, post-Vietnam espionage thriller from the point of view of the Vietnamese, of a Vietnamese communist in America, which I think is cool. Robert Downey Jr. actually plays a couple different roles in it. I see Adam's probably like puking.
I did see this trailer and it actually looked pretty interesting.
I
Looks
had this
pretty
on my honorable
yeah.
mention, by the way, Dev.
Yeah, I just it was one of the few things, like I watched the trailer of all the things I was doing my research today, and it was like, damn, like it seems very well realized. I know it's coming out for sure. Something to look forward to. Kind of gives me like some vibes of like the White House Plumbers per se, a little bit of comedy, but just from a perspective we don't normally see, which is the Vietnamese or the Viet Cong.
Like it, yeah. I think I said honorable mention for me.
Also directed by Park Chan-wook,
Perfect.
which is pretty huge.
That's huge.
He
Adam,
did 3 episodes of it.
3 for you.
Somebody's got to have this on the list. I'd be surprised if it's not anywhere. And it's Dune Part 2.
My number one.
It's my number 2.
It's number
Don't
1.
have it. Don't have it. Don't care.
They just kill everyone's lists.
That's
Don't
aggressive.
care.
Oh,
Don't
that's,
even care.
That's tough. This is when
What?
everything
That's
happens in the
aggressive.
book. This
Yeah,
is when the real shit happens.
the first
Yeah.
one is just vibes.
I
And now
haven't been
we're
able to-
into like real shit.
I haven't been able to buy into this universe. I figured you guys all have it very, very high, and that's cool. It hasn't vibed with me yet.
You're
That is-
absolutely missing out.
Villeneuve just
well-
makes good movies.
Yes, he does.
Mhm.
I think he's my favorite living director right now.
Living director. No, Ridley Scott's still number 1.
Well, there's an Alien movie.
My
coming
number 1
out.
is coming up.
Oh, there is.
That was my honorable mention.
Not with
the
him.
Alien.
Not with him.
Speak
Somebody
on
else
it
is
though,
making
Adam.
it.
Speak more on Dune, and then
But yeah,
Nick
Dune.
can,
Yeah, we ended like when Dune 1 came out, nobody really knew it was just one movie. Until it was like a couple weeks before it came out, I think. It was announced that it was part 1, which made sense to people that know Dune. But was still surprising. And so now we've waited over 2 years for this one, and I think this is the end. I still haven't heard confirmation if there's a
there's a
part 3
show
or
at
not.
HBO as well coming. A
There's
prequel
shows
show.
coming, but those are totally separate things. Like those will be based on other novels in the universe. But Dune is just one of probably one of the best like sci-fi novels ever. And
Yes, there's no Star Wars without it.
this first Dune film by Villeneuve was like, it was like I hadn't read the book in 15 years, and it felt like deja vu. Just like everything I imagined the book is this movie. And it's just fantastically done. It looks beautiful, as Villeneuve does with everything, and it like everyone comes to play. Everyone is doing what they need to do. This put Chalamet, I think, on the map as like a real star. Not that he hadn't really done much, but like that big star. And I just am excited to see how this kind of gets wrapped up, if it is wrapped up, or if
And
we're
you're adding
gonna see
what,
more.
Florence Pugh and who else to this? Austin Butler.
Yeah. I mean Zendaya basically, because she was
Yeah, she wasn't really in it.
barely in the first one. She was just in the very
12
end.
minutes. 12 minutes.
So now she's going to be involved a lot more. It's probably going to be like 4 hours long,
Christopher Walken, was
but
he in the
I'm there
first
for
one?
it. No, was he?
No,
I don't think so.
he's the emperor, I believe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Frank Herbert did five or six Dune novels, and then his son took over for basically the rest of the series. So it's generally well accepted that whatever he wrote is like the pantheon, the pinnacle of the series. So I wouldn't be surprised if, assuming this does well, they'd go with all the OG stuff.
Yeah. Speak on it, Dev. Dune.
I can't do it any better than Adam did. Just that it is the basis for contemporary science fiction. It's essentially written like Lord of the Rings, if you really think about it, but just set on Mars with spice. But the second half of the book, which is what this movie's based off of, is after you've learned all the history, after you've learned all the settings and characters, the traits, the language, and you really start vibing and start kind of immersing yourself in the world. and quite literally when I mean it, like shit really, really, really pops off in the second half of the book. So this movie will not be as dry, no pun intended, as the first one was.
Nick?
Nice pun.
Again, I think just getting back to like Villeneuve, it's like he makes incredible movies. His set pieces are unreal. The colors are insanely good. And yeah, adding a couple people to this cast is not going to hurt it, you know. And then again, it's going to be, man, it's the first one was a spectacle. It was like I was so excited to see it when it came out in theaters, and then you see the Shia LaBeouf come out of the sand, and you're like, this is exactly what I need in life. And it was one of the greatest things I've seen on a big screen. And then it was just like, all right, perfect. I can't wait for the second one.
So Adam,
I'm really excited. That was number 3 for me. I'm really excited to hear the Hans Zimmer didgeridoo soundtrack come back, because that score is wild from the first one. He's hitting those didgeridoos like a motherfucker.
He did.
Like I'm
And
in.
Dev, that was what number was that for you, Dev?
That was 1.
And Nick, what was that for you?
2.
2. Okay. So your number 1 still available then, Nick?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Go for it. And by the way, too, I should just say on Dune, like, I guess it's not that I don't care. It just hasn't unfortunately clicked with me yet. I do know people that I have talked to said if I read the book that I maybe have more of a connection to it per se. Because when I watched the movie, as you did say, Dev, I just found it very dry and couldn't really find myself into it. So definitely have to do a rewatch and maybe potentially read the book to get. I understand the connection it has to past sci-fi and modern sci-fi, and how influential it is, more importantly, onto Star Wars. It is incredibly influential into Star Wars.
Dune Part 1 kind of suffers from the Harry Potter effect, where in what J.K. Rowling described over 2 or 3 pages, they just showed you, and they didn't actually tell you anything about it. Same thing happens in Dune. Like when you see these characters, you actually read 2 or 3 pages of their history, their backstory, their name, what have you. So you actually know exactly what's going on. And it all kind of happens within 5 seconds of the movie. So it makes sense that you would be fairly uninformed.
Yeah. Nick, number 1.
I'm going with the new George Miller movie, and I'm going with Furiosa as
That's
my
my number 1 as well, baby.
Fuck,
Ooh.
man, George Miller, the greatness. Even the bad Mad Maxes are fucking great. So this one should be just great. Anya Taylor-Joy, I think, can hold the screen. It's got Hemsworth. The guy's the fucking greatest.
I love everything with Hemsworth in this. Like, I love it. I'm so excited to see Hemsworth not be Thor, to be
Right.
something different, to be a different character. And the first, Dav, did you have Furiosa?
Honorable mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
I know the first one with well, not the first, but the most recent one was such a spectacle. It kind of changed how you wanted to see movie. You have to see this in IMAX, best sound, best everything. Like this is like one of those movies. Like if you say, "Oh, wait till I get home," then you don't give a shit about the movie. You have to see this in the theater in IMAX. That's the only way to see this. Like this or Dune, I think, is what's going to win the box office this year. Is one of these 2 films. Probably Dune, but this is definitely going to be a close one.
Well, talking about how Dune is like contemporary, like basically the start of modern contemporary sci-fi, Mad Max Fury Road is essentially the start of 21st century action movies. It really paved the way for the ability to make something that's entirely cinematic, using tons of practical effects and conveying a super simple story, which when they did the director's version, was all in black and white with no dialogue. That's how good of a movie, that's how good of a visual storyteller George Miller is.
The first movie I technically ever saw was Mad Max.
The original?
Yeah, my parents took me to it.
Man, watch that again. That movie still rules.
Yeah,
the
I saw it, it
Thunderdome,
was
the
on
Thunderdome's
cable.
a little hard to watch, but that first one is still a classic. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was on cable during the holidays. It's great. And I mean, too, like that first time I went with Devan and his fam to see the newer Mad Max. And it was kind of one of those, I didn't know really what to expect. You know, you kind of seen the trailers, like that looks cool, and you're just like jaw to the floor of like, what is going on? This is unbelievable. And yeah, I'm really excited to see Hemsworth again, just be a different role. So my list is done. Nick, your list is done. Devin, you have number 2 still. Okay.
Correct. I can't believe you don't have this, Josh. It's the Acolyte, Star Wars live action, the end of the High
Yeah,
Republic.
I had this because we don't know for sure.
This is
That's
a
the
hope and a
problem.
prayer. This is a hope and a prayer, but this
Yeah.
also this kind of goes against my rule of like having things with trailers and posters and
Yeah.
casts and stuff like that. The time frame at which this show will potentially take place is important for a lot of reasons, but also for those fans of the original trilogy and the prequels, theoretically will do a lot to set the stage for galactic intrigue and trade disputes.
Yeah, I had it on honorable mention as well, but again, I wasn't sure if I could nail down a date on it, but super excited for it. It's gonna, if it does come out this year, it's gonna be electrified. Adam, did you get your whole list?
I got number 1 left.
Okay, tell us number 1.
You were saying the best directors of all time that are still working. Sorry, not of all time, but working directors. My number 1 director who's still working is the Canadian David Cronenberg, and he has a new film this year. It's called The Shrouds. There's not a lot about it. There was like one image that just came out. I'm assuming it'll probably come out at like Cannes or definitely TIFF this year. But anything he does, I'm in for it. It's slated as a horror thriller. I'm sure there's some techno jargon body horror stuff. That's what I'm hoping for. It's got Vincent Castle in it. It's got Guy Pearce is in it as well. And it's just amazing. Like everything, he had a few misses, slight misses, I'd say, recently with like Dangerous Method, Maps of the Stars. But then he came back with Crimes of the Future in 2022, which is really underrated as like a super body horror play, essentially. Like it's like a theatrical play. And I didn't realize this, but his wife passed away in like 2018 or 2017. And apparently this is like his most personal film that he's made. So it sounds definitely up my alley. It should be pretty good.
Nice. So there we go. Everyone is done. So the number 1 to the end of the day, Nick and I both picked Furiosa. Devin picked Dune, and Adam went with Cronenberg, The Shrouds. Shrouds, my apologies. The Shrouds.
Not the Crudes. That's the Nick Cage thing.
Few I'll go quick for my honorable mentions, didn't get mentioned. Mario vs. DK on Switch, the Princess Peach game on the Switch, NCAA Football 2024, which I wanted to put on this list, and we were supposed to get a trailer during the national championship, and it never happened, so I just couldn't trust it. But if not, it would have made my list. Sonic 3, the first 2 Sonic movies are actually good, and you're gonna get Shadow the Hedgehog in this, so that's pretty good. Another one that just barely missed out, Inside Out 2. I wanted to put it on the list, but it just missed one of the better Pixar movies. Kung Fu Panda 4 should be fun. Acolyte, like Devin mentioned, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch Season 3. And then one that I wanted to put on here, but I just couldn't get it, was Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Donald Glover.
Cautiously,
not the 21 Savage movie with Donald Glover.
No, not that one. No, not that one. Adam, what was your honorable mentions?
I had a couple that I wasn't sure if they're going to come out, but Ari Aster's new movie, Eddington, has Emma Stone, Christopher Abbott, Joaquin Phoenix, and Pedro Pascal.
Damn.
So that's
good.
insane. There's a movie called Jaunty, and it's Eric Wareheim from Tim and Eric. It's his first feature film that he's directing, and it stars Michael Cera, who hasn't had a starring role in a movie in a long time.
No.
So if that comes out, I'm excited for it. I don't know if I'll see it, but I'm not really excited for it. But Francis Ford Coppola's Megapolis, if that actually exists, I don't even know if it exists, but it's insane. I also had Steve McQueen is coming out with another film called Blitz. He did like 12 Years a Slave, Hunger, Shame. His films are always amazing. And this was like a real honorable mention that was like probably 11 on my list is Nosferatu by Robert Eggers.
I thought it would make it.
It was close. It comes out on Christmas Day this year.
Yeah.
I'm just like not crazy about the Nosferatu story.
Mhm.
And like the original, it's okay. But so that's like the only reason it didn't make it. But I'm sure he'll do something super interesting and wild with it.
Dev, any honorable mentions?
We talked about probably half of them. I'd also throw in Transformers 1, which is an animated movie.
I thought you'd have that.
Well, there's not enough information to like really be excited for, other than the fact that it will come out this year. So it's the prequel to the start of the war, which is really cool. Prince of Persia: The Last Crown seems like a wild return for a very classic video game franchise. The Bear season 3 is apparently out this year because they're working on post production right now.
Yeah.
Hades 2, and then Rise of the Ronin, which is a game by Team Ninja, who most famously did Ninja Gaiden in the 2000s, and they did the Neo series. So lots of samurais and ninjas and shit in mine.
So in right now. Nick, any honorable mention we missed for you?
I did have Alien, Nosferatu, the new Strangers movie, because those movies rule.
Is Luke Wilson in it?
Man, no, it's the third one, so there's gonna be nobody in it. Which is fine. Still gonna rule. Yeah, nothing too heavy elsewhere. Gladiator 2.
Yes,
I think it's coming out. So Gladiator.
Yes, I forgot. I was like, is someone going to do Gladiator?
Gladiator?
Is this when he's in like heaven or something? Like, I need to know about the story first.
The cast is crazy. Denzel's in this.
Maybe he's like Damon Hunsu's son or father, or is this like even connected to Maximus?
Not 100% sure.
Well, let's fact check.
It's follow Maximus's son after his death.
Man,
okay, I'm in.
How many movies is Barry Keoghan in this year?
Like no.
No. That's what I was gonna say. He dropped out of that.
Oh, he did.
Did he?
He dropped out of this movie. There's this really amazing British director named Andrea Arnold. She did a movie called Fish Tank. She did one called American Honey. You might have seen with like Shia LaBeouf. She's really good. He dropped out of Gladiator to do her new movie called Bird that's coming out this year, which is going to be a big international hit, I think. Or in art
who
circles.
didn't direct that? Ridley Scott, the best living director.
He didn't.
Or my favorite living director.
Yeah, I thought Adam would mention Challengers also. The Zendaya film that got pushed back. It has a little
the Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know how to say his name. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I saw the trailer, or was there a trailer or the images? Whatever I saw, I was like, but kind of.
Nothing's the Beekeeper. I mean, let's be honest. Nick kind of
Let's be honest.
Nick just kind of took it over with that. So there you go. 2024. It should be. Oh, and I like I said, I didn't have Star Wars Outworlds on it. I was going to, but again, I didn't know for sure if it was coming out or not. So it's kind of one of those, kind of like Devin's mentioned, there's been these trailers and then we don't know if something, I mean, we didn't know there was going to be this God of War DLC and then it just popped out. So it's kind of hard to know. Games at the start of the year are really hard to nail down. Really hard. So, all right. Thanks to Nick. Thanks to Adam. Thanks to Devin. Thanks everyone for our most anticipated list of 2024. Until next time, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Fresh Take Network. Follow us on social media platforms at FreshTake42.